Hi, so Michael Aggrey-Ampiah, I'm back. So as I promised you in the earlier video, I'm going to give you tips on how to be an ACCA prize winner. ACCA stands for Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. Originated from the United Kingdom, obviously, and I am a member, proudly a member. So yes, as I said in the earlier video, I am a 3-time ACCA prize winner in Ghana. For advanced financial management, I topped Ghana in December 2021 exams. In strategic business leader, I topped the country Ghana in June 2021 exams, and I ended up becoming the overall best or the top affiliate in Ghana in December 2021. These are my awards, as you can see them here. This is for being the prize winner for advanced financial management, as you guys can see. Prize winner for advanced financial management, ACCA. Second award right here for strategic business leader, top in the country Ghana. Strategic business leader. I hope you guys can see it. And the last one, this is for being the top affiliate in the country Ghana in December 2021. Yes. Here it is. Really proud moment. And yeah, so I want to show you guys how to get this, how to do this, steps to do this, steps to also become an ACCA member. So here we go, Fabrizio. I'm using your term. First step, I failed a couple of papers in part 2. I failed a couple of papers in part 1. It spared me to never want to fail again because it's a horrible feeling. I stopped ACCA for some time because I was down. I was down after I failed. Is it P5? Performance management, direct performance management with financial reporting, and I failed it horribly. No, I didn't fail it horribly. I got 44. ACCA, the pass mark is 50, and it was a horrible experience. I dropped ACCA for a while, and I took it back, and I said to myself, I do not want that feeling of failure ever again. That made me sit my butt down to learn. To become a prize winner like I did, I will show you my steps. My steps are obviously going to be different from everybody else. First, I never went for classes when I was in part 3. And all these awards I won, all these prize winner awards I won were all in part 3. First thing, before you can become an ACCA prize winner, you need to have passed your exam on the first attempt. That's becoming a top affiliate. Before you can become a top affiliate, that is when you are done with your exams, you need to have passed all your examinations on the first attempt, and you need to have the highest total accumulative score in part 3. In your final part, you need to have the total highest accumulative score, and 2, you need not to have failed any part 3 exam. So all your passes should have been on the first attempt. So if you hear that anybody's a prize winner if you hear that anybody's a top affiliate in any particular field, any particular area, any particular part of ACCA, it means the person passed all of that level's exams on the first attempt. Let me drink some water. Priska, Della, I'm doing this to help the world, like you said, to put it out there to help the community. So 4 minutes in, first time doing this kind of thing. So yeah, okay. So you know the 2 basic things to become a top affiliate. 1, you need to have passed all that level's exams on the first attempt. That means you should not have failed any paper. And 2, you should have the top total highest accumulated score. To become a prize winner, you need to learn. I self-studied. That means I did not go for classes. I sat down on my own and I learned every single paper, every single topic back to back. This is how I learned. See, this is the book, the workbook, maybe BPP workbook for advanced financial management. And then say these are all the past questions for advanced financial management. And say these sheets of paper over here are all the examiner's reports on every single examination that has been written over a period of time. What I do is, when I start studying, I take the workbook, I read the workbook cover to cover. Yes, I study the workbook cover to cover. When I'm done studying the workbook, I take the past questions. I go straight to that particular exam I'm about to write, past questions. And I solve every single past question at least 4 to 6 years back from the current available past questions. I solve it back to back. So I'm done reading the workbook cover to cover. Then I take the past questions. Let's say we are in 2023. So this is January, I think today is January 11th. Today is January 11th, 2023. So probably the latest past questions available would be for December 2022 or September 2022. What I do is I go take that September 2022 past question and I solve it cover to cover. And the thing is, I obviously may not know how to solve everything. So I see some question, I'm like, what is this? Obviously, you get so disheartened when you start for the first time solving past questions because you're like, what is the correlation between what I learned in the workbook and the past question? You're like, it's so different. But with time and practice, it will be so easy. So I pick the past questions after I'm done with the workbook cover to cover, my first attempt, then I start some of the past questions. I pick the book up, the paper up, I download the past questions online on my ACCA Global's website. Also, I wish I had a way to put my ACCA qualification on my wall. Like, it should be here somewhere. So whilst I'm talking, can't you see? And I'm talking. Shit, I didn't plan that. Oh, my bad. But I didn't plan that, but yeah. Can it be somewhere here? Nah, this is too cringe. All right, so as I'm saying, so I take the past question and I go cover to cover. I cannot solve everything on my first attempt. I cannot learn everything then. It's hard. I cannot answer every question because it's my first attempt. So what I do is that on the website ACCA Global, the past questions are available and the answers to those past questions are available, as well as the examiner's reports on that particular examination, which teaches you what students did wrong, what examiners expected of them, and what examiners are going to tell you to do. So that's what I do. So let's say I'm taking December 2022's past questions for advanced financial management. I try and solve it from cover to cover. If I don't know the answer, I look at the answer. If I don't know the question, the answer to the question, I look at the answers which I've printed out as well. And I'll compare the answer to what the question is saying. Okay, so it's saying I should do this rather than doing this. So it's talking about mergers and acquisitions, say advanced financial management. Oh, okay. So this is how the answer should be put. Okay. So I do everything. If I don't know how to answer everything, I don't bother myself because it's my first attempt. And now this is weeks of exam. I'm talking weeks of exam. I don't start solving past questions a week or two to the exam. I'm talking about 8 weeks of exam already solving past questions. 6 weeks of exam already solving past questions. Because as soon as I take an exam, ACCA writes it 4 times a year. March, June, September, December. When I'm done with my exam in March, I rest. This is what I do. I just rest for like a day or two. On the third day or on the second day, I already have my books for the next paper I plan to write or the next papers, and I'm studying them. So I have between 2 days after my March exams all the way to the June exam. So I have, ACCA exams are normally written first week of the month. So like I have the whole of March, then I have April, then I have May. So I have like 3 months to like prepare. So I'm using, say, the first 2 weeks to go through the workbook, and I'll use the following time to solve questions, and I'll go back to the workbook, examiner's report. I'll take you guys through all of that in the next video. So let's just go ahead. So as I was saying, I take the past questions, I solve a cover to cover, I try, what I can't, I leave it, I look at the answers. Then when I'm done with that set, I go and take the examiner's report, and I read on what the examiner has to say about the past question, about how students should answer the questions, about how much students wrote so much when they were not supposed to write so much. For example, it was through the examiner's report, which is so important, guys. Examiner's report. It was through the examiner's report that I learned that if a question is saying, is it allocating 5 marks, or let's say it's allocating 2 marks to a question, you're not supposed to write one whole booklet. You're not supposed to even write up to 10 lines or 5 lines. Just write like 2 lines, but go straight to the point. If it's 10 marks, then you're supposed to write probably a considerable amount. So if the marks is, say, 2 marks, you're not supposed to write as much as you're supposed to write if it's 10 marks, or you're wasting your time. You know, ACCA is time bound, 3 hours, 15 minutes. And I think for SBL, Strategic Business Lead, that's 4 hours. You need to take note of your time. Every minute you're supposed to spend, I think, 1.8 minutes for every mark. I think I'm starting to be correct, but I think it's 1.8 minutes per every mark. So if I'm about to solve a question, or I'm about to solve a question on the computer, and I see 5 marks, I immediately calculate. So 5 times 1.8, I think that's like 9 minutes or so. I'm just remembering from my days of writing an exam. So I know I only have 9 minutes to solve that particular 5-mark question. 9 minutes, how much am I supposed to write? You know, first of all, I'm supposed to use that 9 minutes, a bit of the time, in fact, a good amount of the time, to understand the question and understand and frame what kind of answer you give. Then you go ahead and give your answer. I would do another video on how to answer ACCA questions like I did to become a prize winner. That's another area I can do a video on. So yes, so I look at the time and I go according to the time I've been given. If I have just 9 minutes, I answer the question in 9 minutes. I read the question, I understand the question I have been given, and I think of the kind of answer I'm going to give. And the answer I'm going to give for ACCA answers, they must always be based on the scenario, on the question you've been given. You don't write answers abstractly. You always relate your answers, unless stated otherwise. You always relate your answers to the scenario the question is referring to. So let's say they say, Mr. Gabriel has gone to acquire Sonny. In your answer, if it's relevant, make use of the name Mr. Gabriel. Make use of the name of the company he acquired called Sonny. Make use of those key details in the scenario, in the question, to answer it. So when the examiner is reading, he knows that, oh yes, you have applied the scenario to your answer. When he's reading, he knows that, yes, you are talking about question 1. Also, okay, I think I need to step these things on how to answer questions. 1, label, relate. Okay, so I'll have to do another video on how to answer questions, because I'm seeing a lot of things that I'm remembering, man. Good old days. So you need to make sure you use the details in the question. You need to use that to answer the question. You don't just write, okay, so he acquired the company, which will show that you are using the scenario. Saying he acquired the company, or Mr. Gabriel, which is the name used in the question, acquired Sonny, which is the company name used in the question. Who do you think will get the marks for application? You saying he acquired the company, or another person saying Mr. Gabriel acquired Sonny? As an ACCA qualified chartered accountant, you should be able to apply scenarios, real life scenarios, what is going on around you, to every single answer you give to your clients, to your CEOs, your stakeholders, your management, because we are strategic leaders as ACCA qualified chartered accountants, as members. So, you know, this also does, by the way, but whatever answer you're giving, you time yourself. It's 1.8 minutes per mark. So if it's 5 marks, 5 times 1.8 minutes. If it's 10 marks, 10 times 1.8 minutes, that's 80 minutes. So you have 80 minutes to answer a 10-mark question. That is in writing, that is in understanding the question you've been given, in putting together the kind of answer you would give in your mind, and then finally translating on paper with the time left. Stick to your time. Question 1 is no more important than question 4. Every single mark you get from the first question to the last is going to help you pass. Get that 50 plus 1 to pass, 50% and above to pass the ACCA exam. So don't think that you're going to write so much in part in question 1 and just write scanty in question 2, or you write so much in part question 1, 2, and 3, and the last question you have no time left because you spent all your time unduly and now you don't have much time. But probably it's the last question that would have added up for you to move from 48 to 52, from 40 to 50. Every question in ACCA is important, and that is why you should stick to your time so you can answer every single question. That's just that, by the way, but this is all part of the things I had in mind whenever I was writing an ACCA exam, and which helped me to win these 3 awards. So if I'm going into an examination, or if you are going into an examination with all this in your mind, time management, how to answer questions, applying the answer writing to the scenario, using the details, don't you think the examiner is going to read and go like, oh, this is good. Oh, this is good. You will get all the marks you need to get. You get at least some of the mark you need to get because you have applied it. You have used your time well. You've answered every single question. All this knowledge, all this information I'm giving you, I did not get out of the blue, but I got it because all this information is available in ACCA's examiner's reports. That is where the examiner is telling you what they want. That is where the examiner is telling you this is the amount of time you should use to answer a question. That is where the examiner is telling you that don't write so much. Go straight to the point. ACCA wants you to go straight to the point. Yes, he is the CEO because he was voted by the board of directors. Yes, he's the CEO because he was appointed. Period. Yes, Mr. Kobe is the CEO because he was appointed by the owner, Mr. George. Straightforward answer. You got all the marks you need. You don't need to write so much. And ACCA too does not really care about your grammar. They just need to understand what you're trying to say. They don't really care that you've not dotted your I or crossed your T, or you've not spelled the word right, because ACCA is a global qualification. There are people who are writing ACCA examinations who don't have English as their first language. All ACCA cares about is that you are able to put what you are saying in understandable terms. They don't care about your grammar, about your spelling. It is the world's most forward-thinking accounting and finance body. They are gone past that. So, moving on. 17 minutes. I just have a few more minutes and I'll go to video 3. So, that's what I do. So, I read the workbook, whatever workbook, let's say Advanced Financial Management, Advanced Audit and Assurance, or SBR or SBL. I read it, the book, workbook cover to cover. I solve about 6 past questions back. My first attempt, obviously, I can't solve everything. So I look at the answers. And then I solve it. Then I go, when I'm done with that, let's say I do like 6 past questions backwards. So let's say December 2022, September 2022, March, January 2022, March, June, March 2022. That I do December 2021, like all the way to probably 2019. I do all the way back. And another important thing, 2 important things I just remembered. Before you sit for any ACCA exam, before you start studying for any ACCA exam, go on the ACCA Global website. Go search for that particular examination you're going to write. In fact, just go on Google or whatever search engine you use. Type in the name of the examination you're going to write. So you're going to write Advanced Financial Management. You're going to write Financial Reporting ACCA, right? Financial Reporting ACCA. It will link you to the ACCA website, and go and read the overview of that course. Go and read the overview of that course there on the website. That overview was a guidance from ACCA that's going to tell you that this particular course is about this. So make sure you do this before you do this. It is on that overview that type in probably Financial Reporting, Financial Management ACCA, which leads to the website, the link on the ACCA website, that will give you all the details. That particular page, you find all the ACCA past questions. You find all the ACCA examination reports. You find technical articles that may or may not be needed based on what the examiner's report will tell you. You find quizzes. You find overviews. It's so important. Let me tell you what an overview did for me. When I was going to write Advanced Audit and Assurance, so I started part 3 with Strategic Business Leader in June 2021. Then I decided to take Advanced Audit and Assurance next, or SBR. I was contemplating on the 2. So when I was done with SBL in June, I went to the ACCA website. I typed in Advanced Audit and Assurance. And on the overview side, telling me what to expect in my studies and exam, it told me this. From the ACCA Global website, it said this. Make sure you only attempt Advanced Audit and Assurance when you have passed Strategic Business Leader. Wait, when you have passed Strategic Business Reporting. Let me take that again. The ACCA Global website told me that make sure you only attempt Advanced Audit and Assurance only and only when you have passed Strategic Business Reporting. It's clear. You can find it right now. Go on ACCA's website, look for Advanced Audit and Assurance, and look for the overview. It's right there. Because Advanced Audit and Assurance is based on what goes on in financial statements, which is SBR. You obviously audit financial statements, so you should know everything about SBR. You should have passed SBR. That is ACCA's recommendation. So imagine you don't go and look at this, and then let's say after I did SBL, I just go and say I'm going to do AAA, Advanced Audit and Assurance, without writing and passing SBR. That would have been a total failure, because a lot of things in Advanced Audit and Assurance are based on SBR. So what I chose to do was I took Advanced Audit and Assurance together with Strategic Business Reporting. So I learned both together. So today I'm learning SBR, tomorrow I'm learning AAA. So I learned both together. I solved questions about both together. I looked at examination reports together. So what happened was, even though I hadn't written SBR, but I learned it together. And I wrote both AAA and SBR the same week. So for me, it was as though I'd already passed, because I learned to go and write the exam to pass. So that helped, because the truth is, my Advanced Audit and Assurance exam, nothing in it really came from audit. Everything came from SBR. That is how crazy and good the ACCA advice is. Everything you need to be an ACCA prize winner is on the ACCA website. Before you start any examination, make sure you go on the ACCA website, type out the course you're going to study, for, and read the overview. ACCA would hint you, would guide you. ACCA wants you to pass, become a member. We need more members. We need more strategic business leaders. So they'll guide you on what to do. And that was the guidance I received. Before this video ends, let me tell you another thing I do before I go write an exam. I told you I solve a lot of past questions. So when I'm solving a past question, I make sure that when I'm done solving the past question, I look at the answers. At the bottom of every answer generated by ACCA, which is on the website for you to download, there is the mark allocation. That is so brilliant. The mark allocation ACCA will give you for every mark or every question you answer. So let's say question 1 is 15 marks. ACCA, after the answer booklet, after the answer sheet, at the bottom, the last page, will tell you that yes, so question 1, 15 marks. And we'll break down how to get all those 15 marks. So it will tell you that you get 5 marks for giving an introduction. Let's say you get 1 mark for writing an introduction. You get 2 marks for writing a title. You get 3 marks for writing a conclusion. You get 10 marks for writing the body. You get another 1 mark for spacing out your work. Yes, something else. Let me write it down on my tips on how to write exams. Space out your work. So yes, it is right there at the answer part, at the last page of every single past questions exams, which can be found on the ACCA website. Whatever past question exam you are looking at, whatever past question exam it is you are looking to answer, ensure that after looking at the answers, you go all the way down. They would have broken down the marks. They would have given you the mark allocations. If it is a 5-mark question and you're writing a report, it will tell you that you get a mark for writing introduction. Writing introduction and giving a small introduction. You get 1 mark for that. You get a 2nd mark for titling every single body you are putting in place. You get 1 more mark for giving a conclusion. So that's 3 marks. And you get 2 marks for the body. So imagine you do not know this and you go and write a report by just writing the body. You haven't given an introduction to see what you're going to write about. You You haven't titled your body, and neither have you given a conclusion at the bottom. You just lost 3 easy marks. So even if you don't read the examiner's report, what I would not advise you to do, read the examiner's report. Ensure that every single past question answer you're looking at, go all the way to the bottom. Don't ignore those. You see, it's like just in bits. You see mark, 1 mark, 2 mark. Don't ignore that and be like, what is this? Let me just skip it. That's not answers. That will guide you on how to solve your questions. What to put into every single answer. I mean, how to solve your answers. How to solve your questions. What to put into every single answer to get the total marks. Because imagine you're supposed to give an introduction, you're supposed to give titles for your everybody, every single body of your work you put, you're supposed to give the conclusion. Imagine you know this. You know what you're heading towards. And that's 3 marks. You've already gotten 3 marks out of 5. So simple, right? But you wouldn't have probably realized because you're not taking note of the answers given at the bottom of every single answer you download. So make sure you do this. This is, see the in-depth analysis that I prepare myself before I go write any exam. That is how it is. That is what I do. I'm looking at my time management. I'm solving every question. Okay, let me just get back to what I was saying. Ensure that after you're done all this, doing the workbook cover to cover, solving past questions about 6 years back, looking at all the answers 6 years back, looking at the mark allocation at the bottom, and looking at the examiner's report for every past question you do, I do what I just said all over again. And I do it all over again about 4 times. Before I go and write one exam, I read over the book, the workbook. I saw 6 past questions back. I look at the answers when I don't know it. I look at the mark allocations and the answers. I look at the examiner's reports. Then I do it all over again about 4 times before I go and write one exam. Yeah, it kind of makes sense that I probably ended up being a prize winner. That is how much in debt I do work. Wherever you find yourself, whatever country you find yourself in, get in touch with your ACCA body, ACCA office, country office. They provide you with videos given by examination tutors, like examiners like Ben White. Is it? No, not Ben White. Ben Carson, I think. He was for advanced audit and assurance. I watched his videos on how to answer questions, and that also guided me so much because they answer questions. They answer live questions. They pick a past question. They actually answer it for you to see. So you see how the examiner is answering the question. If the examiner is spending less than 2 minutes solving a question and he's just going on, just giving like a few points here and there, writing it out, spacing his work out, you'd be like, okay, then that's what I also need to do. I don't need to write so much. So this is what I did about 4 times, and that's basically it. This is how I became a prize winner. The examiner's report will show you what to do. Some papers you have to look at technical articles if the examiner's report asks you to do that. Others you don't have to. So all the guidelines is there. So steps that I do before I take, that's an overview before I leave, almost 30 minutes. Before I start any ACCA exam, before I start any and every ACCA exam, I make sure, my goodness, I go on the ACCA Global website, type whatever examination title I'm going to take, whether financial reporting, advanced audit and assurance, SBL, SBR, advanced financial management. I write it out and I go and read what the course is about, because that will give you first-hand knowledge on how to go about solving your exam, how to go about studying, how to go about answering the questions. The rest are all in the video. So my next video, I'm going to teach you guys, wherever you're listening from, how to answer an ACCA question. Expert tips for me, Michael Aggrey-Ampiah ACCA, an ACCA member, and a 3-time ACCA prize winner. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave a comment on what you want to know, reach out to me. You can reach out to me in the comments, or I'll reach out to you. I'll put on my email that you can get in touch with me. I'll put on my social media handles. Yeah, reach out. Let me know what kind of videos you want. Tap into the knowledge I have, free knowledge. I'm not charging anybody for this. Tap into it. Maybe you want something in particular, something you find difficult, or something you want to know more about. Just let me know. Close to 30 minutes. I've got to go. So my next video is going to be on how to answer examination questions on exam day. on exam day. Take care, guys.